Hey there everybody, hope you're doing well. So for this video, I want to go through a sample child tax credit calculation for the 2025 tax year. So the CTC is calculated and reported on a Schedule 8812, which is included with your Form 1040. So we've got a sample 8812 here, which we'll work through, and it is part of the full tax return for these taxpayers. So we'll cover the 8812 and then all the other forms and schedules that might be necessary in order to make sure you're calculating this correctly. So in addition to the return, I do have just one slide here covering some background on the CTC and what are some of the elements you need to be mindful of to make sure that you do in fact qualify for this credit for your children. So the CTC for 2025, the amounts have increased from last year. So in 2014, the credit was $2,000 per qualifying child. Now it's $2,200. So a good 10% bump from the prior year, which is a very good thing to see. And then the additional child tax credit, which is that refundable piece of the CTC, that has hit a maximum of $1,700 for 2025. Now, really important are the qualifying child tests, right? So in order to be able to claim this credit, you and your child have to meet all of these elements. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to claim the credit. Now, it doesn't mean you won't get any kind of credit. You might have to do a credit for other dependents, which is a separate calculation. But the CTC is the one that we're focused on for this example. So first test is the age test. So in order to claim this credit for your child, they have to be under 17 at the end of the year. Now, a lot of taxpayers are, I guess, understandably kind of confused or upset that that's the age cutoff, because certainly if you have a child that's in high school, they might be 17, 18 years old. They're still living with you. You're still supporting them. But the CTC only applies for kids that are 16 and under. So if you have an 18-year-old that's a senior, they're not going to be eligible for this child tax credit. Relationship test, so there has to be a relationship between you and the child. So obviously the most common ones are, your son or daughter, or a foster child. But you could have, another relationship, either brother or sister, and it also includes grandchildren. So if you're a grandfather or grandmother and you are the one that's looking after your grandchild, you have custody, that's fine, right? Grandchildren are also included. So just really important to make sure that there's the relationship test is met as well. All right, so the support test, the child can't have provided more than half of their own support during the year. So generally, this isn't going to be an issue for you if you have kids, certainly young ones that are living at home. You're clearly the one, supporting them. They're not employed yet. So you would certainly meet the support test under those circumstances. You have to claim the child as a dependent on your return. The child has to be a U.S. citizen, U.S. national, or other U.S. resident, and they need a valid Social Security number. Also really important, right? You want to make sure that they have an assigned Social Security number. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to claim this credit. If you had a child that was, let's say, just born at the end of the year, and you're waiting on the SSN to be assigned, you have to wait to file your return. Do not file the return and input something like applied for or pending or something to that effect. You need to have the SSN in there, or else the IRS is just going to disallow the claim altogether. And then residency. So the child should have lived with you for more than half of the year. Temporary absences are okay. So if they go away to summer camp or school and they're away from the house for a few weeks, months, that's generally okay. Now, the phase out is really important here, right? So the child tax credit is generally going to be fully available to you as long as your income is below these thresholds. $400,000 of modified AGI for joint returns, $200K for all other filers. If your income exceeds these thresholds, then you might have to reduce the amount of the credit available. And there's a computation for that on the 8812. So let's have a look at our fact pattern, and then we can jump back into the return. So we have John and Jane Smith. They're married. They're filing a joint return, and they have one son, Robert, who's 5. Now, Robert is being claimed as a dependent on their return, and he checks all the boxes up here for qualifying child. He's under 17, There's the relationship between him and the parents. They meet the support test. He's not working. He's only 5 years old, so he's not providing more than half of his own support. And then he meets the other three elements too, right? Being claimed as a dependent, he's a citizen, and he lives with his parents more than half of the year. All right. Now, Robert is going to be that qualifying child. So they're going to be eligible for the full $2,200, and their AGI is $165,415 for the year. So really important with respect to the phase outs, right? Their income is below the phase out threshold, so they should be eligible for the full amount. All right, so now let's have a look at the return. So the 1040 here, we have pages 1 and 2. We can see here we've got John and Jane Smith. They're doing a married filing joint return. And we can see here in the dependents section, they have listed their son, Robert. They have his social security number, the relationship with the parents, and then, yes, he has lived in the U.S. for more than half of the year. And then line 7, we are indicating that he is being eligible, and we are claiming the child tax credit. So we can see here in the income section, we have $165,000 of wages. It's got some investment income, a little capital gains. So their total AGI for the year is $165,415. All right. Now, if we look at the tax computation really quick, we can see that they've got the standard deduction of $31,500. So their taxable income is $133,915, and then the amount of tax that's being calculated on that taxable income is $19,265. Now that figure is important because when doing the 8812, you need to look at the credit limit worksheet, which we will cover as well. Okay, so now let's have a look at the 8812. So we can see up here, it is the 8812 for the 2025 year. And in part 1, we've entered the AGI, so their adjusted gross income, from page 1 of the 1040, right? Line 11A. Now, if you have any of these items that apply, so income excluded from Puerto Rico or the 2555, the foreign income exclusion, you might have some adjustments to arrive at your modified AGI. But in this example, the taxpayers didn't have any of those components. So the modified AGI is simply their adjusted gross income. Now on to the credit calculation. So we've got line 4, enter the number of qualifying children that are under 17 with the required social security number. So in our case, we've entered 1. We just have 1 qualifying child. So we multiply the 1 by the $2,200 per qualifying child. And so we input that amount on line 5. So there's our $2,200. Now, this is the other credit for other dependents section. So on line 6. So, if you have children that are over 17 or over, and they're still your dependents, you might get the other dependent credit, but doesn't apply in this case. They only have 1 son, so we're just working on the CTC. So we add up those line items, and we're left with $2,200 of child tax credit available before factoring in perhaps the phase out. So line 9 here, enter the amount shown based on your filing status. So married filing joint return means we're working with a $400,000 threshold. And we would go on to line 10 and subtract line 9 from line 3. Well, if we subtract $400K from 165, we're at a negative number, right? So it asks us on line 10, after we do that subtraction, if it's 0 or less, which is in our case here, you would enter a 0. If it's more than 0 and not a multiple of 1,000, enter the next multiple of 1,000. And then, so in other words, what they're getting at there is if your income was above 400K as a married filing joint return, you need to do this computation to figure out how much you have to reduce your $2,200 credit by. In our case, the income is well below that, so we don't have any phase out to worry about. Okay, so we're left with the line 12 amount for $2,200, and it asks, is the amount on line 8 more than the amount on line 11? Well, line 8 is $2,200, line 11 is 0, so the answer is yes. So we subtract line 11 from line 8, and enter the result here, and on the enter the result here, and we take a look at the credit limit worksheet next. So the credit limit worksheet, you can find this worksheet in the 8812 instructions. So if I jump down to that worksheet here, So this is the credit limit worksheet where we are starting with the amount of taxes that we are liable for based on our taxable income. So there's that 19,265 figure. And you complete it worksheet by adding any adjustments that might be pulling through from Schedule 3. So Schedule 3, they didn't need to include it in this form, but the Schedule 3 adjustments are necessary because what they want you to do is adjust the tax balance owed, the amount of taxes you owe on your taxable income, before you factor in how much of a credit you can apply against the taxes owed for the child tax credit. So in our case, we don't have any Schedule 3 adjustments, but if you do have a Schedule 3, go trace it and find out if you have any items on these various line items, and then make the appropriate adjustments on the worksheet. So we're simply left with the 19,265. So we don't have to make any adjustments. So we don't have to do credit worksheet B. So that's going to be a 0 for us because we don't have any of these items up here for residential energy credits, mortgage interest credits, and so on. So we're just working with the 19,265 from the credit limit worksheet. So we take that figure and it's unadjusted. So we go back up to the 8812. Enter the amount from the worksheet. So there's our 19,265 figure. And then on line 14, it asks us to enter the smaller of line 12, 2,200, or line 13. This is your child tax credit and credit for other dependents. Now, if hypothetically after doing that worksheet, we found that the taxes that were reported on line 13 are only, let's say, $1,100, well, the $1,100 is going to be smaller than your $2,200 figure, so there's going to be a limit, right? So there's a limit to how much of the child tax credit you can claim, depending on what your total tax liability is given your income. So we have the $2,200 there. They get the full credit. There's no phase outs. They have a sufficient amount of taxes on their income to be able to offset it. So we've got the $2,200 there, and we report this line item on page 2 on line 19 of the 1040. So if I jump back up to the 1040, we'll go down to line 2, and we can see here our line 19 figure, child tax credit or credit for other dependents from Schedule 8812. So there's our $2,200 figure. And so now we can see that their original calculated federal tax liability on their taxable income was $19,265, but they get a credit, a dollar for dollar reduction. So $2,200 comes off the top there, and they're left with a balance of $17,065. So in this case, the credit did help reduce their taxes owed by $2,200, and it did impact the refund. It increased their refund by $2,200 because they had a sufficient amount of withholding on their W-2 income. Okay, so that covers it for this video. I hope that was helpful. I'll have some other ones posted as well that'll cover some different scenarios, like with the phase outs or the credit limitations. So go check those out as well. And as always, I appreciate you watching and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.